Expect mispronunciations, biased conjecture, and unsubstantiated facts. This is Mediacore Opinions, Anime Edition. Ahoy hoy and welcome to Mediacore Anime Spring 2018. This time I will be chatting about my opinions on My Hero Academia in general and some current Season 3 opinions. It's the middle of the season and this is basically a quick episode where there's going to be some spoilers, so I'll give you fair warning if you want to skip over those. For this show, I'm currently up to date. At recording, we are on episode 44, and in the UK, I'm watching this on Crunchyroll. So if you don't know, in this world, most people have a superhuman power. It's roughly around 80%, and the first one ever reported was a glowing baby, and oh, look at the wee baby! So at this point in civilization, things have found a bit of an equilibrium, where there's similar aspects from our world to their world, but the main difference is that there are hero organizations that will assist the police in combating any criminals for their area. Heroes need to have a license to use their power, and one of the routes to get it is through university, and that's basically the whole setup for the world. So my opinions overall. The show is now in its third season, and at this point, you can definitely call me a fan. With most anime that I currently watch, I don't really read the manga beforehand, and I'm really glad that I haven't done that for this show. I've heard from a few sources that it seems to be following along closely with the manga, which gives me even more reason not to read it yet. Probably do something similar to what I did with Assassination Classroom, where I'm only starting to pick up the manga now after finishing the seasons. With My Hero Academia, their filler episodes feel few and far between, with fights overall feeling that they have ample breathing room, but not drawing it out for too long. The tempo in them is right on course for me, and the characters still get to develop from those fights. You see them reflect and think and develop within the fights at the same time. And speaking of characters, they have done a good job in balancing the amount of them and fleshing them out. For most anime, I'm going to be skipping the intro, the outro, and any sort of extra bits like previews for the next episode because, again, they generally retain just slightly altered clips from the show, or they have some sort of new way of looking at something that's going to happen down the line in the show, and I have a hyper avoidance for any sort of spoiler, especially when I can just experience those other things afterwards. But if you're not like me, and you don't have this sort of hyper-avoidance, I don't think there's too many things that will actually spoil you. Any major things anyway that I can recall. Well, you'll know yourself better than I would, but hey. I feel that overall it's got a good sound design, some well-fitting music, and in general the animation is very good. When it needs to be, it is excellent, and when it doesn't need to pull out all the stops, I feel like it is definitely good to watch. Very enjoyable. So, as I said before, to date they are on episode 6 of season 3, or episode 44 if you're just running from the top, and I am going to talk about spoilers. Well, the way I talk about them is going to be very light for this episode, but I will be showing specific examples on screen, so if you are, again, not a hyper avoidance like myself, you can just look away from the screen and listen to me talk. Okay, last warning, the timestamp is below and on screen, so you can skip whenever you want to, or you can stick around. Okay? Okay. Right, so this first episode in Season 3, episode 39, is called Game Start. And it's a lie. My expectations were that we are going to get into it, because before in Season 2, let me just check here. At the start of the season, we had episode 13.5. It's a recap episode, but they didn't do it this time. This time, they went straight in for using a full-numbered episode, and it's a lie. It is basically a recap episode. It was really disappointing for me. Waiting for the season, them getting you hyped up, and then it's basically delayed another week. I wasn't very impressed with that. It is, it's not a big deal to wait a week, but it is really annoying just to... It hits home when you are excited for a show and they pull this thing. It wasn't a bad episode, it's just because my expectations were we are going to get into it, especially that we didn't have a 0.5 episode. They could have just set expectations appropriately with a 0.5. The other major gripe I have with Season 3 is the fights. I know I was complimenting them earlier, but I feel like Season 3 isn't really giving them the same treatment as the previous seasons. I understand, the pacing is good for the story, and at this stage things are meant to be spread out and frenetic. In general, they're just a little too short for me. Aside from more time and money being spent or taking the swimming episode out and just starting the season from the next episode so they could have one more thing to mess around with, they could have maybe recut things so they felt a bit more layered, checking in with more characters during the episode, showing off quick clashes to let us know that certain fights are going on while the main fight is happening. We've been missing so many of what the rest of the classes and teachers are doing at this time from week to week, and watching it week to week, these questions become very apparent. When they've been cutting away to other characters, it has just been in service of talking about a MacGuffin. We cut away and the characters on screen are doing something and the story just goes, "Oh, you will need to know about this MacGuffin, so we'll show you that," instead of just layering it through the episodes. The overall feeling is that we're being rushed through a really interesting encounter, like they have an endpoint in mind and they only have so many episodes to do it in, so they just squeeze everything in, which makes the first episode being a recap so much more irritating. But in saying all of that, the quality of everything else is kept up. The quality is kept up for everything aside from the intro. If you haven't seen any of the memery that's been going on, I will provide a couple of links below and you can go have a look for yourself. But I have liked that the characters are utilizing the power more as combos with each other rather than trying to find new aspects, as at this stage in the game they haven't had enough time to develop new strategies or find new limits to their power just yet. And with the characters that we do focus on, I feel like there are some lesser shown that are done really, really well. So, after all that, my score is always subject to change, granted. It can change whether I've had a coffee that day or not, but this is my score in general. I would give this an overall score of 9 out of 10. I've had a few more issues with Season 3 than I did with the first two, but I do love the show and I would highly recommend that you try it out. And on top of that, with this show, if you were to count the first two seasons in isolation, they'd be 10 out of 10 for me, and we are still in mid-Season 3, so that's not to say that it can't change by the end. I would say that if you're yet to watch Season 3, I would recommend a binge rather than one per week. This show is really reminding me of something like Hunter x Hunter and X-Men, sort of getting merged. We're following kids that are learning how the world works. They're working with mentor figures, figuring out how to develop their powers, and they're developing themselves and relationships and how they all fit into the world in general. And I think it's really good. I really do highly recommend it. Give it a try. So thank you very much for watching. Like I said before, I'm in the UK and I watch this on Crunchyroll. I'm not too sure where it is everywhere else. And this has been Mediacore Opinions, and I would love to hear your opinion as well. You can do this best via the comments below or on Twitter. So I'd love to hear from you if there's anything else that you think I haven't covered just yet. Again, this was meant to be spoiler light, and at the end of the season we're definitely going to get into the meat and potatoes of this. But seriously, I hope you're all having a great day. Be excellent to one another, and I'll see you soon. Boop boop boop. Oh, right, some random bits at the end. Yeah, I thought season 2 overall was really good. You start out with a sports festival, and then you get them having their internship, and then you have them getting back to school and being tested by the teachers. 3 big arcs within, 38 and 13? Well, we'll say 14 because we had that episode 13.5, so you've got 24 episodes for season 2, and they did like 3 proper arcs. That was really, really nice, really interesting. Let's see, season 1. Oh, come on, phone. Don't be like this. Not like this. So going off memory, season 1 you had the getting into place, getting tested on what you can do. And then, again, it was 13 episodes. It wasn't going to be as much. So the arcs weren't as big in that, but I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good presentation and good way to showcase what you want to bring to the show. Season 3 in particular, yeah, that's probably a good idea. So I think they did a naff job with Coda, rhino horns on his cap. I seriously thought he was going to be a strength character. I thought he was going to be like some sort of, I don't know, like buffed out Waterman. And when I saw Muscle Man come in, I was like, oh, he is going to be strength water, like he's going to have like these big massive water arms or something. No, he's just a water whip. Like I suppose, I know he's just a kid, of course, but we have that the big blast on the side of the thing, and I guess it was just Muscle Man scoping out the place, and he's just like, oh, punch the wall for a bit while I'm bored. Yeah, like that fight scene between the Muscle Man and Deku was too short. It was too short. I feel like they rushed through that, and like I feel like every single one of these fights could have been really interesting. Like you've got the Muscle Man, you've got Voldo from Soul Calibur with the metal teeth, and that could have been really good, but there wasn't enough time spent on it. I just feel like they've got an end point in mind. Like I said before, they've got an end point in mind, and they just don't want to stop running. And we have had plenty of setup, and we're missing characters. Where's Teal Guy? Where's Tape Guy? I'm terrible with names, by the way. If you haven't noticed, I barely remember Deku, and that's his hero name. So yeah, and I feel like, you know what? That's enough. We are mid-season at the moment. Well, technically, it depends how long the season goes on for. If it's 24 episodes, woo! That'd be awesome. But this is season 3, so I'm assuming we're probably going to get 12. That's just assumption off the bat. So we are 6 in, so we'd be halfway through if that's the case. Yeah, I could do that. I'd be happy enough. This is going to have a grace period of basically a whole season until I would really be like not watching anymore because of how good, or I should say how much I loved the first 2 seasons. They're very enjoyable. It does feel like X-Men and Hunter x Hunter to me, of what they're trying to do, the world they're trying to build, and the conflicts that are happening. Feels like a later X-Men, of course, like where the world's calmed down after all the mutants start, popping up, and that sort of become a normative sort of thing. But it's good. I really liked it. So I can't wait till Saturday for the next one. So I'll see you then. Yeah, bye-bye. Thanks very much for watching. Or at this point, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you all have a nice day and be excellent to one another. I'll see you soon. Boop boop boop.